Welcome to another segment of the Goy Story. It's our little clip where we have a special guest for you. My name is Miss Chelsea Pearson. I'm looking forward to it. I'm gonna open us up in prayer, and then we can just hop right into it. God, we just thank you for another opportunity. I thank you for the testimony. I thank you for this platform, as well as your grace and your mercy. I pray that you continue to lead our hearts, lead our minds, so that we can grow closer to you. It's in your son Jesus' name I pray. Amen. Welcome again. Looking forward to it. Let's get Miss Pearson in here, and let's see if we can get to know her a little bit.
Hi.
Chelsea, how you doing?
Great. How are you?
I'm well. I appreciate you joining.
Yes. Thank you for the invite.
Oh, absolutely. How about you introduce yourself to the people? Just kind of give them a little background about yourself before we jump into it.
Okay. My name is Chelsea Pearson. I am a realtor in the Raleigh-Durham area. I am from North Carolina, born and raised. I went to school here. I went to NC State.
Okay, Wolfpack.
Yeah, been here all my life. Yeah, that's me.
Okay, cool. I understand. I mean, I'm a Clemson Tiger myself, so I got the ACC ties. I route with the Wolfpack. So, are you still living in the Raleigh area or no?
Yes, I still live here.
Oh, okay. What did you study? Did you do real estate in school? Because I know some people sometimes transition and do real estate like just kind of outside, like afterwards. So did you study that in school, or what? How did that go?
So I studied communication in school. Real estate was kind of like it happened after college.
I understand. Hey, it happens like that. You find it, right? So look, we're gonna jump into this little. I got a little get to know you segment, right?
Okay.
We're gonna have a couple questions show up on the screen.
Mhm.
You know, a lot of people to, I guess, know you a little bit on a different level. But just answer as I would say as transparent as possible.
Okay.
All right, here we go. I'm sharing the screen right now. First question: get to know you. If Chelsea were not working within her current occupation, what occupation would you be pursuing or working?
Okay, so this is an easy one.
Okay, I like easy.
I tell everyone this. So in college, I worked in recruiting for the football team, and I always said if I didn't do real estate, I would do recruiting. The only reason I didn't pursue that is just because sports is kind of a crazy industry, and I didn't know if I was, that was going to be. I wanted to plant my roots somewhere. To stay. So that's the only reason. But if I was not doing real estate, I would be working in recruiting.
Oh, nice. Okay, so I'm pretty sure you like sports then.
I do.
I get, obviously, nice. Did you play sport?
I didn't.
Oh, okay. You just kind of, yeah. How you get around the game? Like you just kind of just always fell in love with it, or any family?
My brother played every sport
Oh,
there is, so I was kind of like the cheerleader that went around. I did cheer when I was in school, so I found out a lot about all the sports, but I just never wanted to play it myself.
nothing wrong with that. I understand recruiting. Okay, I like it. What is Chelsea's favorite pastime?
So, I mean, from the video, as you can see, I love I love doing step aerobics.
Getting it.
It's something that I did. I actually took step aerobics in college, but I also got reconnected with it during the pandemic. I was trying to find something to, stay active and stay moving. And I found a class that was virtual. And so I started doing it there when things opened up. We started going back in person. So I love, love, love step aerobics.
Nice, just getting it. It's actually kind of it is really challenging. Like if
It
you're
is.
especially like once you get it though, it's one of them things like people that got it, they make it look easy. It's almost like anything, right? Once you
Right.
kind of like you got something you're born with, but sometimes something like that you kind of got to practice and things like that. So I definitely
Right.
understand. Like I seen you getting, I'm like, yeah, the footwork on point. Definitely take a lot of footwork. I like it. I like it. What is it? Is that a class you do like around here, or is it still virtual?
It is in Raleigh. It's at this gym called Club Cardio in Raleigh.
Okay.
And like I said, they do it. I do it Mondays, Wednesdays, and Saturdays. So yeah,
Nice.
I love it.
Nice, big time. All right, what was something you got in the most trouble for growing up for? If any. Like what yeah. What
I
is
didn't
something you
get
got?
home.
You seem very nice, wholesome, you know, but which you are, you know what I mean? I understand. So,
And
I'm pretty sure growing up you did something you got your hand popped for.
I didn't get in a whole lot of trouble, but most of the time it was always one or two things. Talking too much. Like if I got in trouble in school, in elementary school when I was younger, I just loved to talk. So I was probably always talking when I wasn't supposed to be, or trying to outsmart my parents. I was, if they told me to do something and I'm like, okay, let me find a way that I can get around that.
Don't we all?
Yeah,
Absolutely. I
absolutely.
understand it. I mean, I guess that's why it goes hand in hand. I guess you say you like talking, so I guess that's where the communications came in, right?
Yeah.
You went to study that in school, and you can recruit. So I mean, look, like, I understand it. It goes, yeah, nothing wrong with that. All right. Who was the most influential person in your life growing up, or was it multiple people?
I would say there's multiple people, but if I had to pick the most influential person, I would say my mom. She is the driving force for my career choice. And like I said, she just, made a lot of sacrifices, of course, along with my dad as well. But, I just learned a lot from her, and she, always stayed on me, always pushed me. My dad was more of the quiet one, but my mom,
Always.
she was very vocal and, pushing me. She would say what my dad, what they talked about and what he wanted to say. But my
Yeah.
mom was the one always in my ear, So I would say she's probably the most influential person.
Nice. So you said for your career choice, so your mom is in real estate as well, or no?
She is. She has been a realtor for, I believe, this will make 20 years.
Nice.
Yes.
Okay, that's big time. Okay, and dad, he's kind of slow motion, right? Most dads are. He kind of stay, he talk more in the bedroom, tell her like, look, I think this is the plan, right? And allow her to go out there. Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah, yeah.
Exactly. He has his real estate license too, but he doesn't actively practice. But he calls himself our trash man. He's not the trash man at all, but that's what he calls himself. But
Nice. Okay, so all y'all do real estate. So what does your brothers and sister? Did you say you had a sister or no?
I have one brother, um,
Okay.
and he is in the banking industry.
Nice. Good time. Okay, so y'all doing it all. I love it. All the almost the whole entrepreneur type vibe, like almost independence. I love it. I
Yeah,
love it.
yeah.
All right, last question for the get to know. What change do you want to see in the world, if any, at this point?
Of course, yes, there's a lot that I would want to see, but I would say if I had to like sum it all up, I would just want to see more peace in the world, and that in every aspect. Of course, people know what's going on in Afghanistan, and all the different things. Then we got the pandemic, and it's just a lot
Absolutely.
going on. So I would just say, if I could sum it all up in one word, I would just want to see more peace in the world.
Absolutely. It makes sense. Hey, more peace, more love. Hey,
Yeah,
we definitely need it. Absolutely. I understand it.
for
But
sure.
Chelsea, look, we're gonna talk about kind of I guess go a little different. You I think you might be you're the second woman, I would say, this season on this Glory Story season. Um, so we're trying to add a little more diversity to it. But we're gonna talk about the woman in the workforce. I know it's
Okay.
do I have an echo going on?
No.
Oh, okay. I sound everything pretty good. It sounded like I had an echo. I ain't know. I ain't know. All right, but yeah, the woman, particularly the black woman,
Okay.
minority woman, in the workforce, and statistics do show. I'll kind of give a little background that women, particularly black minority, do get treated differently when it comes to business, negotiating, leadership, promotional opportunities within their desired career fields. Right. This is based on research, like I said, that has been conducted over the past couple of years. Now, granted, one can argue they might be watching like, okay, those results can be a bit subjective sometimes, right? Depending on the particular demographic that you are asking or surveying. However, I can say one thing that has intrigued me about the healthcare industry, which I work. It is something I didn't see a ton of. I would say individuals in the field that look like myself. So I'm speaking from, I guess, a black minority coming into the healthcare field, which kind of intrigued me into healthcare in general. However, I would say that not only is it just not individuals like myself that are in management leadership positions within the healthcare industry, there aren't, I would say there's even fewer women that look like myself in the healthcare, I would say, realm, essentially in management and I would say leadership position. You
Okay.
know, and that kind of leads me to the question that I would have for you, um, coming from a woman of color, you don't have to speak in reference to healthcare in general, right? But unless that's your career field, but you kind of mentioned that your career field is real estate, right? So you don't have to speak in reference to healthcare. I kind of just was talking about healthcare. In your current career field or within the workforce as corporate America, do you feel there are discrepancies towards yourself or women who look like you in regards to advancement, leadership, negotiating, and other growth? If
Okay.
so, why do you think that?
So yes, I do think there are discrepancies, and I would say there's a lot of factors that contribute to that. I know that as far as talking about Black women, it's particularly, I think only 60% of real estate agents are Black. Or six, I said 66% of real estate agents
Wow.
are Black. So
Okay.
in that, even fewer are Black women. So it definitely is, when you're in our field and you don't see a lot of people that look like you, it can be very difficult. We're independent contractors. And so, we don't have anyone to like put out there behind our name. It's just us. And, right now we're working a lot with social media and things like that. So, your look is important. And I would say, we have conversations all the time with people in the industry about, how people feel about how you're presented as far as being a Black woman and hair. And, there's so many things that contribute to it. But yes, in all, there are discrepancies that prevent advancement. But there are some organizations who are doing some things to try to get more Black females in the real estate industry. I know NAREB has like a program that they are offering.
Okay, and what exactly does that stand for? I'm sorry, I didn't because.
I can't remember what exactly it
Okay,
stands
yeah,
for.
acronyms they can be long. Absolutely, I
Yeah,
ain't. Yeah, I can barely. Yeah, acronyms. I understand, but yeah.
but they are offering a program to try to, offer like grants to pay for people to be able to get into the real estate industry and take the courses and things of that nature and start their business, so that there are more of us. So, things are being done, but I will say that a lot contributes. There's a history of discrimination in the housing industry in general with redlining and all of this other stuff. So, all of that comes together and explains why there may not be as many Black real estate agents.
Right, I understand. And do you feel like in that industry, do you feel there is more of a discrepancy towards women of color being able to close on homes, in your market, or is real estate an industry that you, I would say, don't have to kind of worry about that in a closing on homes type deal? Is it much more about, about you as the person essentially and how your relationship building is, or is it a little bit of both? Like, is it harder, or you feel like discrepancies with women of color closing on homes or minorities, or is that something that you haven't experienced or you don't think?
It's definitely harder. I mean, this industry is all about relationships and all about networking. People work with people, not necessarily, with companies and things of that nature. So that's why I said, your social media presence and everything like that is so important. But it is harder for us because I know the statement, a lot of deals are made on the golf course and stuff like that. Like we don't play golf. We're just
Absolutely. I don't play golf either.
and I mean, my dad and my brother both play golf, but
Yeah,
as far as like Black women, that's not the norm for
it
us.
isn't.
And so,
Absolutely.
those having to still work and find these deals, we have to work harder because we're not already in those places where those people are.
Right.
Especially since the typical home buyer is a white male and we're not necessarily in, networks and things of that nature with them. So we do have to work a lot harder to be able to get those deals, get those contracts and get them closed. And just to network, because like I said, this business is about networking. A lot of times it's about who you know and not what you know. As far as, getting homes under contract, meeting with builders, meeting with developers and stuff like that. We don't necessarily know them. So
Right.
it's just, you have to work 10 times harder to be able to put yourself in those environments.
Right, makes sense definitely. And I don't play golf either. I should start practicing. They do say a lot of business done on the golf course, and I mean, not just Black women, but a lot of Black males don't play golf either. You got of Tiger Woods, but other than that, it's not too many, right? So I definitely understand that, and you're right. Like you definitely don't see a lot of women of color, playing
Mhm,
golf either, right? So
mhm.
I definitely understand that. Is what I would say what drew you to real estate in the begin with, right? Was it that freelance type, self-made independency, or was there something else? Like what drew you into?
Yes, it definitely had a lot to do with that. I just had this conversation with someone earlier. I actually never wanted to do real estate, surprisingly.
Okay,
I grew up with my mom doing it when I was younger, but I was on the other side of that. So I was the kid that like had to sit in the car while my mom was like meeting clients, or I had to sit in the car while she was showing a house or something like that. And so it wasn't fun for me at that point because I was a tag along. But when I graduated from NC State, I was applying for jobs, and I mean, we know how it is when you think you're going to make a certain amount of money, and then these jobs are sending you offers, and you're like, I didn't go to school to make that kind of money.
absolutely, that's
And
true.
so you're like trying to figure it out. And so my plan was like, okay, hey, I'm going to get into real estate temporarily, and then I'm going to go to grad school and be able to get the job that I want. But I ended up getting into real estate and I loved it. And like I said, definitely the freedom to be able to make my own schedule, be an independent contractor. My income was unlimited. One day I hope to, have a husband and have some kids. And I wanted to be able to have that freedom to just kind of do and raise my kids and, be able to pick them up from school and stuff like that. Like my mom did for me. That was one of her driving forces for getting into real estate instead of her previous career. So all of that kind of came together, and that's what made me want to get into real estate or want to
Nice.
stay into real estate.
Right. You feel like you're gonna continue doing that till you plan on doing it till you just retire, just because you can probably do that forever, right? Like you can just
Yeah, you
this
can.
is
And
one of them things you can just pick up or how like you probably gotta take a test every year, like or what? Like
so
what
we
is
have you only have to take the test once as long as you keep your license active. So every year you have to take continuing education. But as long as you take continuing education and you renew your license, you're good. You can just keep them forever. And so I don't really see myself doing anything else. I've never had another job. So I don't know that experience of like clocking in, clocking out, having to like request PTO. So I don't see
not
myself
holiday pay?
I don't see myself doing anything else. But like I said, if I had to, I can make it work. But I plan to always keep my real estate license, no matter what.
Okay, nice, big time, and then in addition to like we're talking about kind of like the discrepancies or things that you might see as a woman of color in real estate. What other challenges if there's a young real estate or aspiring real estate agent or woman of color, like what other challenges have you experienced, or what might be the toughest thing from I would say for your position in particular that you experience?
I would say, well, starting out, it's very difficult for older clients in particular to kind of take you serious. That was one of the things I
Okay.
struggled with. I was young. I was only 22 years old and I was black and I was a woman. And when I showed up, I think they felt like their daughter was like, showing like it's hard for them to take you serious. But you never know who you're going to encounter, especially you're meeting people. If you have lead generation services and stuff like that, these people don't know you at all unless they, choose to look you up. So a lot of times, you're on the phone with them, you have your professional voice, and then you show up in person and they are not expecting you to
Right.
get out of the car. And so, that you can kind of, see how their reaction is a little bit sometimes. So that could be a struggle, but I mean, I just always say, whatever clients are for me are for me. And, I am who I am. If you want to work with me, you can work with me. If not, then that's okay too. But, I focus more on, making sure that I am knowledgeable and helping my clients and, just giving them the best experience for home buying or selling as possible. And so, I mean, I would say I'm trying to think of another challenge that I really have faced. Other than like I said, taking clients taking you serious. Then like I was talking about in those board meetings and things of that nature, it's not the norm for you to walk in and see another person that looks like you. We have a lot of organizations and a lot of groups in this area for Black realtors and just minority vendors in general. So that's your lenders, your real estate agents, your attorneys. We are very connected in this area in particular. Um,
Big
but
time.
but you need other people as well. And so that's, when it kind of, it's great to be connected with your own people, but sometimes we find it difficult to be able to branch out and get into those other spaces.
Right.
Like we're talking about boardrooms and sitting on, community planning meetings and stuff like that,
Right.
having a presence where there is a lot of you. So we try to do better about, like, we have a monthly mastermind. We meet, I think it's every second Wednesday. And we basically come together and we're like, okay, how can we do better about putting ourselves in these places? And so other realtors, they're coming up, they don't have this problem.
Right.
So we're doing a lot to try to assist and advance in that area.
Right, and pretty much what you alluded to was what a lot of people experience, that corporate America trying to unify, and get individuals that are minority in those quote unquote positions
Mhm.
to make those type of decisions or be a voice for the minority group when
Right.
those decisions are being made. And it just seems like now that we talk about that, it just seems like us, the people in general as a whole, with discrimination, discrepancies in general. And I'll be remiss not to, this is the glory stories, to not talk about my spiritual connection as well. Discrepancies in general is that under God, it's weird that, or it's kind of amazing to me that it's so many or so much division and things like that, because when you talk about under God, we're all the same, right? And I know that's kind of cliche, and it's like in his own image, we're the same. And I just want to highlight Genesis 1:27. So God created man in his own image. In the image of God, he created him, male and female, right? We're talking about kind of discrepancies with male and female, or we're really talking about women of color at this point. But essentially, the discrepancies in your career fields or in general. He created male and female. He created them. And I just wanted to highlight it in particular because exactly like I said, it's fit into what we are talking about. And I just want to take a look at a lot of what is going on in the world. You see, like I said, the division, the selfishness, and greed in almost every aspect of life, kind of like. And it's more so in what you kind of was alluding to when you talked about the sitting at the tables. It wasn't exactly essentially the same, but you alluded to it when it's essentially like it's big business, right? And a
Okay.
lot of people of color um, aren't in those positions when it's quote unquote big business, right? And that takes me to 1 Timothy 6:10. For the love of money is the root of all evil, which people might have that's pretty cliche as well. Which while they have, or some coveted after, they have eared from the faith and pierced themselves through with many sorrows. And I read that because there are a ton of rich and successful people, right? Millionaires, billionaires, decision makers who um, have fallen in love with money, right? And it's people that aren't even, I would say, rich or successful. They have fallen in love with money as well, right? Trying to get it, trying to make more, and that they will pierce themselves through and do whatever, essentially, to whoever to accumulate more and more of it. And I'm just here to tell, or ask you, or not even so much as ask you, I'm gonna say tell, like individuals like myself or someone that's watching, right? I'm gonna just leave it as someone that's watching. I'm here to tell that individual that one day, or the individual that is focused on piercing themselves or chasing after money, right? One day we're all gonna leave here, right? One day, you won't be able to take none of the money that you're or things that you're chasing your dreams with you, right? And because at the end of the day, like God knows the desires of the heart,
Mhm.
because he talks about not being able to buy your way into the kingdom,
Mhm.
right? So my thing is, I know I'm kind of, I guess saying a lot, but what is your take on, I would say, individuals who are chasing the dream,
Yeah.
doing these things, trying to, like a woman like yourself is trying to, essentially, you want to climb the ladder. What is your take on, I guess, people's desire for money or accumulating more? Like, how can we go about doing that in a way that you can still remain understanding and cognizant of a faith and not crossing the line as greed? Like, what's your mindset on that?
Yeah, that's actually a good point because I feel like I see that a lot in my industry. Like I said, our income is unlimited. And so a lot of people, I mean, I get messages every week, people saying, I want to enter the real estate industry. I want to do this. I mean, it's just money, money, money. And I guess the thing that I try to tell people all the time is you really do have to love it. Yes, the money is out there to be made, but at the end of the day, I do what I do because I really, truly love it and I care about the customer experience and all of that. So yes, the money comes with that, and it's a grind. You have to hustle, but you that can't be your primary reason for doing what you do. And like you mentioned, at some point, we're gonna have to leave this world, and yeah, you can make all the money you want to make. Maybe you'll have some kids, leave it too, maybe not. But I think I am more concerned with just enjoying my time on this earth. And yeah, I'm gonna make my money, but it's not the focal point. And so I think that's the way, God would have us to be. Like I said, focusing on getting other people to the kingdom and money and all that stuff. I mean, it's going to come, but it's just not the focal point.
Right, absolutely. Because don't get me wrong, don't act like I'm up here. Like I know somebody probably be like, "Well, you need money to survive. You need money to do what
Yeah.
you." I understand that. I would get it, and people praying for it. I don't know everyone's situation or circumstance, so I'm just speaking from, I would say, a spiritual perspective. I understand people are coming from tough situations. They want more money to get themselves out of situations, right? So and a lot of the times, He gives us what we pray for and the desires of our heart. So it's just I just wanted to kind of throw that out there, like make sure that you know that it's pure when you do acts, and if it is for financial gain, you know, I feel like one thing that's kind of funny to me is if it's ever for financial gain, and if you ever need a reminder, right, just take a glance on the back of whatever dollar or currency that you do have, right, or that you can see, because it'll tell you who's really in control, and
Oh,
it'll read "In God We Trust,"
yeah. Mhm.
right, which is like that lets me know that the ones in control of printing the money, even though, but some rather choose, I would say, like we was talking about in the corporate America industry, individuals that print the money or sit up there in those positions. A lot of corruption is in big business, right? And it's just ironic that the ones printing the currency, they print "In God We Trust" on it, but
Mhm.
move in a sense of they don't understand that these things, some decisions they make, they don't really make them with the people in mind. They make it with the financial gain in mind. So
Yeah.
um, I just wanted to throw that out there. But what exactly if you have some final words, before we get off or anything, what are some final words that you would like to say to someone watching, a young lady, or what would you say to your younger self? Like, keep going or something, words of encouragement or something.
Yeah, I definitely, to my younger self, or like I said, any other young lady watching, definitely keep going. I know that, at times it does feel like, the world is stacked against us, but, definitely keep going, keep your faith strong, always be networking and trying to find, new opportunities. I know for myself, when I was younger, I just knew what I thought I knew what I wanted to do, and that was it. Back in the day, I wanted to be a lawyer, and
Okay.
but I think just being open to change and just knowing that you don't have to have it all figured out. And I think definitely I didn't know that when I was younger, but in college, I think that's a lesson that everybody kind of figures out. Like, we don't know what we're doing. And then when you become an adult and you're out of college and you're like, okay, I really don't know what I'm doing, but I have bills and I have things. I may not like my
Absolutely.
career. I may not have liked my major. And I feel like you're just constantly figuring it out. I talk to my parents and, other adults, older adults, and they say the same thing. Like, even now, you're always going to be figuring it out. When you become a parent, you're going to be figuring that out. So like everything, every day is just a constant matter of just, praying. And like I said, keeping God first, and definitely just knowing that you don't have to have it all figured out. And there are people in places that can help you. Don't be afraid to reach out for help. I tell people that all the time. Like I know especially in my industry, there's people that, try to charge you all types of, ridiculous amounts of money to be able to like have coaching and mentorship and stuff like that. And if it's valuable, okay, you may want to invest in that. But there are people out there who will genuinely help you and be dedicated to like seeing you win. I know, like I said, people talk about competition and you're trying to, do better than the next person. But if you can just, like I said, pray and make sure that you are walking in your purpose and doing what God would have you to do, it just kind of flows, and he'll put you in the right spaces and right places where, people just pour into you, even when you're not even in it. And, in those times, I feel like that's when I have felt like, when I am not even expecting anything, that's just like deals just come out of nowhere. And the crazy thing for me, I was telling a friend this yesterday, when I'm in those places, almost like every time that has happened to me where like a deal has come unexpectedly or something like that, someone hits me up the next week asking me for my help with like, maybe getting into the industry and stuff like that. And that's my time to pour back in. God has blessed me. So that's my time to be able to pour back into you and help you and see like how we all can win. So I know I said a lot, but
no, absolutely. No, it's definitely your moment. I definitely that we need more of it. Like we wisely do. It's a lot of people in positions that can assist others, but people, like I said, were I mentioned it, like greed, or they don't want to be I would say the one, I guess, competing with the other person. They look at things as competition instead of growth opportunities or service. So you definitely you doing that, that's a big thing, because a lot of people, they don't. So but thank you for sharing those words and your testimony. Where can you be found via social media? I know you mentioned that if anyone wants to connect with you, right, before you yeah.
So my Instagram is at Chelsea Pandora. Pandora is my middle name. CHELSA PANDORA. It's my mom's first name. She gave it to me as my middle name. So kind of get stuck. So yeah, at Chelsea Pandora. You can follow me on Instagram or Facebook, Chelsea Pearson, just as it is on the screen. And yeah, that's pretty much where I am. On my Instagram will take you to my website and all that stuff. So that's all you need.
Gotcha. And we're going to close for the evening with our final focus. A video encourage, all to continue pressing towards the end of the week. All right. So let me get that shared for you.
If I had to sum up in one word the difference between the greats and the average, the difference between the successful and the nobodies of the world, one word, one attribute to describe the difference: discipline. If you don't have the discipline, you can forget about the trophy. You can forget about the success, the greatness. All champions have discipline. It's the discipline to work hard. Not when everyone is watching, but when no one is watching. When the fans aren't there, when the coach isn't there, when it's just you and your character. The discipline to eat strong, healthy foods when you have other tempting options might not be so strong. The discipline to say no when those around you choose to be average.
She getting it in.
The discipline to keep going when it hurts. Because life doesn't give you what you want. It gives you what you deserve. And if you haven't worked for it, if you haven't sacrificed for it, if you haven't given your all, then you don't deserve it. And you won't get it. Push through the pain. On the other side is growth. When pain comes, that means it's time to show character. Show me your character. Remain disciplined. Stay strong. When it all seems hopeless, keep plugging away. Nothing can stop you if you don't stop for anything. Don't stop for anything. Never break your discipline. Remain faithful to yourself and your vision. When it gets painful, push harder. Push through the pain. You gotta have the discipline to do 11 when your opponent stops at 10. The discipline to keep going when it hurts. Because life doesn't give you what you want. It gives you what you deserve. And if you haven't worked for it, if you haven't sacrificed for it, if you haven't given your all, then you don't deserve it. And you won't get it. Show your character. Remain disciplined. Stay strong. Don't say why the pain. Don't say why me. Say try me. Say, is that all you've got? Give me more. Keep plugging away when there seems to be no hope of victory. When you don't see the results, hang in there. Be strong. Be brave. Remain disciplined.
Remain disciplined.
Yes, absolutely.
Thank you all for tuning in. Feel free to subscribe and stay connected with us along this journey. And as always, faith forward, keeping the main thing. More love, more glory. Chelsea, thank you again. I appreciate it.
Thank
And
you.
you all have a great evening. Peace.